Okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Technicolor, Rainbow, in between. I am Plasma-Pal, and this is Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Sega Master System. This was a little bit of a slog to get through, more so than Sonic 1. And I don't think it was because I liked this game less, because I think it was the opposite. I think I enjoyed this game like fundamentally more than Sonic 1 on the Master System. But I mean, just comparing the two Master System games here, because these are not really, I don't want to compare them too much to their Genesis versions, at least like not at the moment. But like on their own, they're both fine games. They're perfectly serviceable. They're Sonic games, you know, at the end of the day. I enjoyed the beginning of this game a lot more than I enjoyed the latter half of this game. Just because of how, like, I always had this, like, perception of earlier 2D Sonic games that they were hard because they were just games, you know? They were games that were meant to be challenging and played more than once because they're so short. I feel like these 8-bit games kind of ramp that up just a tiny bit. And not really by any fault of their own, just by the merit of them existing the way that they do. Which I might have said exactly in that same manner, almost, in my Sonic 1 commentary. But this game has a completely different... Like, for instance, the boss fights in this game are easier, but they have the same kind of like stupid cheap bullshit that you die from in Sonic 1. Except the only difference is in Sonic 1 you kind of see the stupid stuff coming, only if you've played games before that like put you through terrible stuff. This game, on the other hand, catches you off guard with the stupid bullshit a little bit. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for this game. I will say, Bridge Zone is hype, and I love this song. It's kind of good. I'm gonna let you listen to it right now. Just kidding. The whole zone's over now. You're gonna get like a boss fight in the third act, so no point to making you listen to the soundtrack now all of a sudden. So, what was I saying? The story of this game is pretty much as simple as you'd expect it to be. Just like all the other Sonic games so far. There hasn't been a whole lot to it. It's been... You kind of saw the whole story in the opening cutscene just there. Tails gets kidnapped by Eggman, and Sonic is going on his adventure to save Tails. Kind of like Sonic 1 on the Genesis and Sonic 2 on the Genesis, there's a good and a bad ending. Also, shout out to Eggman right here. Just saving us from a certain death. Pretty based of him, not gonna lie. Anyway, yeah, so there's a good and a bad ending to this game. I got the bad ending because I thought it was funnier than the good ending, and I wanted to show you guys. So, with that being said, I'm not going to talk too much about the good and the bad ending just yet. But there's this guy, right? This boss fight, he's got a whole underside of his body that's missing. You can't see it because it gets cut off, but there's a sprite there. And it's pretty cool. I wanted to share that little bit of trivia with everyone. And Eggman also killed the boss for us. Shout out to Eggman. You know, doing all the heavy lifting. Also, crazy animal capsule design. We never see anything like this again for the most part. I kind of missed that one. This one's pretty dope. I actually had completely forgot where it was from. Like, I knew it existed in the back of my mind, like that animal capsule, but again, I just had no idea where it was from. I forgot. And playing this game again, I'm like, oh, there it is. I found it, the Holy Grail. Look at this, spikes. Oh, there's no spikes there. It's just a not bottomless pit. Those are spikes, though, apparently. So, Sky Zone has a bit of, most of this game has a little bit of gimmicks to it. We'll go over it more so as we go on. You know, Bridge Zone had like the minecart kind of thing. Sky Zone, you're gonna see here in a moment, has the hand gliders, kites. It has kites. Sonic has become Kite Man. You can see it's a little wacky to control. So much so that I don't even use it in this first section. They put that little thing there for you, but yeah, half the time you don't really make that jump. Unless you're like crazy, like I am most of the time, but not all the time. Sorry if I'm not like too enthused in this playthrough, as opposed to the other ones. The other ones that like, I mean, Sonic 1 and Sonic 1, they're both Sonic 1. I have stuff to say about both of them. This is now our second 8-bit Sonic game, and aside from all the gimmicks placed sporadically throughout the levels, and Tails existing in this game, I have nothing really new to say or add onto this. Other than I actually had a bit of trouble finding a ROM for this game, because I wanted to play it on Genesis hardware and not on like not on like Sonic Adventure or anything like that, any re-release of it. I just wanted to play Genesis Sonic 2. And finding a ROM was particularly difficult because most of the like reproductions I found on the internet are a Sonic fan remake of this game that just changes a couple things, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to like stick with that for the video. So I'm actually pretty sure this is the Japanese version of Sonic 2. I'm actually not entirely sure if this had a North American release outside of course outside of like ports and stuff like that from Sonic Adventure DX and stuff of the sort. I'm gonna look it up on Sonic Retro right now. Oh my god, it released in the US on Game Gear. Okay, yeah, no, so it didn't, the Master System didn't have a port or a release in the US. It was just the Game Gear version. Which, say what you will about, you know, Sega and their marketing decisions, but I thought this game was fun. I don't know why they decided to hold back on this. Just like the last boss, though, this boss also has an entire sprite underneath. A little bit more interesting, I've got to be honest, than, you know, the last one. And on the topic of, like, cheap boss deaths, this one in particular has that. Like, I almost hit that fireball. That actually happened, like, a bunch. A bunch when I was fighting this boss. I had the pleasure of playing this on emulator, so I was able to, like, kind of save scum a little bit. And I say save scumming and not just, like, save stating, because it definitely just was save scumming at one point. There's a boss later on that is... I'm not going to call myself stupid, but I'm going to call myself stupid. It took me a minute to learn the cycle of the boss, but it just gave me more trouble than it should be worth, all things considered. And I know Sonic bosses aren't known for being the most intricate and the hardest things in the world, or even, I guess, by the same token, like the easiest things in the world. They're cheap and stupid and lame. Like, nobody really likes Sonic bosses for the most part. A handful I find fun, but that's only because they're either over really quickly, or they have good music, or the whole idea of it is kind of fun. I'm thinking about the Egg Dragoon from Sonic Unleashed, and yeah, that's it. There's one good Sonic boss fight. I mean, I don't want to be that mean, because I know a lot. I enjoy a lot of other Sonic bosses, but that doesn't necessarily make them great, you know? Like, a lot of the rival fights in the later adventure games are just kind of spam the homing attack to win. I mean, I have fun in Death Egg in Sonic 2, and Sonic 3 has some pretty damn good boss fights, all things considered. For like the entire Sonic series, they have some of, if not the best boss fights, if not just for like the set pieces and everything they, you know, bring to the table. Mania kind of builds off of that in a way. Is one of the few things I actually like about Mania. I'm not crazy about Mania, but you know, we'll get to that in like, I don't know, 20 years. And I say that in like real world time, not like the you know, series of the franchise time, because it's gonna take me a while once we you know, once we get places. Oh, and as far as water levels go in Sonic games, I have a weird love-hate relationship with this one, because it's not hard to like get air bubbles and stay not drowned in this level. What's the hard part is this little gimmick right here. So the last level kind of had a it had this like weird, wait, no, I actually forgot what level we're whoops, I'm pretty sure this is still the last zone, is the last part. I digress. So we had the skydiving gimmick, we had the minecart gimmick, now we have water bubble or Sonic and water bubble gimmick, and for whatever reason he's in Cheese Land, so that's fine, I guess. He's got like this weird thing. So yeah, you hit a wall, you hit a ceiling, the bubble pops. But half of the level is laid out so that it makes you kind of think that you really don't need to keep the air bubble with you. So a good amount of it is you backtracking and just trying to learn the level so that you can kind of keep yourself in this air bubble right here. And really, the most challenging part of this level isn't even not drowning. It's just it's not drowning while you're backtracking, which is probably the worst thing I could ever say about any underwater Sonic level. But this little set piece is kind of cool. I like the fact that you kind of do this all over the place, and it's a little bit of a warning for you for like later on in the game, because they have similar parts to that later on, but it's not important. Yeah, you can hold down to like slow your ascend too, which is something I actually, it took me a minute to learn. I won't lie. I can't recall ever beating this this game when I was younger, so I think this might have actually been the first time I beat Sonic 2 on the Master System. Go ahead, everyone, call me a fake Sonic fan. I do not care. I've definitely seen this game get beat, though, and that's the other thing about being a lifelong Sonic fan, is that, you know, there's only so much of the Hedgehog, so you make do with what you have at some point, and a lot of my life has just been spent kind of observing everything Sonic related from afar, even if I, like, didn't have the game, or didn't have this thing or that thing. I am still, for the most part, pretty diehard when it comes to this franchise. But defending it's not fun. Yeah, we were in the same zone. I got a little confused for a moment. I won't even lie with you guys. This boss fight right here is kind of my favorite in the whole game, kind of. I'm gonna say that for the time being, because I actually had a lot of fun fighting this boss. It took me a couple tries, but I don't know. There's something about it. Like, figuring him out is fun. This is just a fun boss fight. You guys are going to see him in a second. Here he is. Here, Mr. Seal Man. I'm sure he's got an official name. I don't know what it is. But he's got this little gimmick where he blows his nose bubble at you. And if you hit it, you die, apparently. But if you hit it, you also hit him. So the goal is to hit him while he's blowing it up, as opposed to before he throws it and everything. I'm a little interested. I wanna see if he's got boss name. What if okay, I'm just gonna look up Sonic 2 Master System boss names. Here we go. Boss names list. Balance Master! So that's the Balance Master. Okay, so all these bosses are, they have they're all the master something, right? So you got Pit Master, who was the first boss. Hyoko Master, which I might be mispronouncing that, but I'm assuming Hyoko is just another word for chicken, or egg. It might be egg, or fire, depending on, you know, I mean, he spits fire. Oh, he's also known as, oh, I'm gonna mispronounce this name too. Gacho Mecha? Gacho Mecha. That definitely means chicken mecha. I'm not even. Okay, so Hyoko is chick. So there we go. And I'll keep the other three boss fights a little bit of a secret for the time being, because we haven't seen them yet. I think this is the part where I sorry for saying just in general. I know it's been a problem. It's going to continue to be a problem. I'm not gonna start cutting it out though, because that just seems like too much work, and I don't feel like doing that. So cope. I'm so thirsty. I've been talking for God knows how long. So, okay, this zone, Green Hill Zone, is Act 3. Ladies and gentlemen, we've skipped all of Green Hill Zone. How did I do that? Why did I do that? We'll come back to Green Hill Zone, apparently. We'll talk about the boss fight and the stage individually. I want to talk about them both in tandem a little bit. This boss fight is just kind of hard. It's not super duper hard, but it's just kind of it's difficult. But the stage is where this level really shines, because I don't know if you saw everything there. I was just jumping. I'm gonna play, after this boss fight, a little montage of every single failed attempt I had of getting through this stage, just so you have like a full understanding and a grasp of how much I actually hate this stage and the boss fight. Because the boss isn't that bad. The boss is just kind of challenging. It's the level and the boss in tandem with each other that makes this entire thing one of my least favorite zones in the entire game. Act 1 and Act 2 are fine. It's just this boss fight. But But I was a little taken aback for a minute there because I kind of skipped over all of Green Hill Zone. But I'll go back and commentate over that, and I'll shove it in. It'll be fine. My favorite zone name ever, Gimmick Mountain Zone. It's pretty good. It's also really funny and kind of counterintuitive because every zone in this game has a gimmick. So I don't really know what they were going for, really. Maybe it's because like it's gimmicky on purpose as opposed to all of the other zones, but that explanation still doesn't make any sense because the kite being in Sky Zone, that's not really a gimmick, that's just helpful for Sonic. Green Hill Zone is just kind of Green Hill Zone but with like a bunch of springs. And that's its gimmick. What else was there? The Lake Zone was underwater, and nothing really placed there intentionally by Eggman. This is presumably Eggman, like an Eggman base or something. But the minecarts are still man-made, and that's kind of a gimmick for all intents and purposes. But again, you know, whatever. Nothing I say matters. Look at this. How am I supposed to figure that out? I mean, granted, it's not the weirdest secret in this game, and there's a couple of moments, to say the least, where you know, you just kind of clip through stuff and it's not fun. Also, this guy. I still want to know what he does. I don't think I see him do anything in this entire playthrough. I think I even get killed by one of them, just out of like negligence on my part, and I still don't like see his attack or anything. All right, we're going back onto the minecarts, guys. Minecarts are forever a part of this game, though. And yeah, minecarts breaking spikes, kind of cool. It makes me almost wish that minecarts made a return, and they kept breaking spikes, because I think that'd be cool. Also, this is one of the few Sonic levels to end on the left side of the screen, just in general. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I know this is a random ass pull, but I think Crisis City for Classic Sonic and Sonic Generations might also end on the left side of the screen. There's I'm having a really hard time remembering all the stages that end on the left side of the screen, like 2D Sonic games. You know, modern Sonic with all the 3D stuff, it's all debatable whether or not it like ends slightly to the left or slightly to the right and stuff. So I'm not really trying to pick from that whole section of the series. Not quite yet. Once we get there, I'm gonna start taking notes though. Just be warned. I won't do that. I'm not actually. No. That was great, by the way. That was even better. How do I leave like deaths like that in, but still somehow? Am I for real? Wow, I really must have edited this in a hurry, because I think I skipped over Act 2 there. You know, I guess we'll just talk about this, you know, boss and this thing right now. You know, we could finish talking about Gimmick Mountain another time. Sorry about that. You know, it happens. So this zone is cool. You have to wait for the platform. That kind of messes me up a little bit. I have to save state right here because the boss gave me that much trouble. This is the boss I was talking about earlier, by the way. This guy, kind of a pain in the ass. His spikes will come back, and those definitely do damage to you. The rocks that come out from the ceiling are a little annoying. They definitely have like tracking based on your placement. And you can see right there, I jumped on them. I didn't get the hit off there, but after I was like moving away, I managed to sneak a hit on him. That was unintentional. But like that, right there, it happened again. That was the entire problem I had with this boss fight. I was just not really hitting him. And he wasn't taking any damage. He was just going back and forth for like ad nauseum. And that would happen. And you know, I just grew to hate this boss. You know, no really faults of its own. I'm sure it's supposed to be difficult. I don't really get if it's supposed to be a tire on the side of it moving up and down, or if it's like a piston and it's like it's like front 2 legs or 1 leg or something like that. It's a peg or like a pirate ox thing. I don't know. Stupid boss fight. I hate it. It's dumb, and I never have to do it again ever. Scrambled Egg Zone is it's got my least favorite gimmick of this entire game. It's just kind of tube. You have to have really fast reactions to everything, and unless you have a good idea of knowing where everything is, you just kind of have a bad time. Act 2 isn't so bad because you can kind of, like, no matter how many times you die, you can kind of cheese it at one point. So long as you get far enough into the level, you can cheese it, and like every time you die, you're still gaining a life. I'll show how you do it when we get there. But no, this level is a pain because this guy in particular, for whatever reason, he has the, I don't like Scyther. I don't, or Scizor, whoever his name is. Definitely not the Pokemon, but like the dude in Metropolis Zone from Sonic 2 on the Genesis. This game's equivalent to him. The bomb guys, they do a pretty damn good job of emulating the feeling of terrible enemy placement. And it kind of made me hate both like this level and Metropolis Zone an equal amount, and I don't know if that was like their intention or not. Also, you can definitely cheese the enemies here by just getting close to them. I kept rushing them for whatever reason. And so we make it to the later part of the stage, right? We go under here. We have to go left and then down to avoid these spikes. But lo and behold, there's 1 left and then 2 lefts. So you have to hold left for like an unknowable amount of time because it like kind of twines into itself. And it's just kind of lame. But anyway, that's how you do it. And then you jump from here, and you go into this one. And then you've gone to the second part of the level. Congratulations. You get a wing box. You get a wing box for all your troubles. Also, that happens, and that's just, quite frankly, really stupid. Don't go into this tube, because it just leads into itself. And there are spikes under you, just for your knowledge. Look, there they are. This is where the gimmick of the level gets really gimmicky, because you just have like a bunch of Patuis right there. A bunch of Patuis that come out and Patui you into the same spot. Patui. I don't even know how you beat this one. I think I was mashing the D-pad at this point. Oh my god, did I just do it? Nope. Patui. I thought I was doing it faster than I initially thought, but I was wrong. Patui. Or I guess I was right, because at first I thought it was going to take me a moment here. So I was right in my assumption of that, but then I second-guessed myself. Patui. and I thought it ended faster. So maybe I was wrong to be right or right to be wrong. The choice can be yours, but to each. I'm definitely mashing buttons here. This is rough. I think I go up. I think I'm supposed to go up. Like, hold on. So I go up. And then here, I go up, right? I think I paused. No, I'm definitely pausing so I could get a hang. I'm pausing so I could get a hang of it. I paused there because I realized, oh no. I have to do it again. Oh, I'm getting tired. But this is almost over. We're almost there at the end, ladies and gentlemen. Game's almost over, pretty much. I don't know if there's extras to this game. I might have to make a separate 8-bit bonus video for this game at some point. But I don't know. So that's Act 1. Lovely, amazing, awesome. Act 2. Act 2 has those enemies, which are... I know I make it look easy right there. But trust me, they're kind of awful to get around. This part right here, you want to make sure you're in a ball so you can get those rings. Once you get those rings, you're in the clear. You can get a life right there, and then enough rings right here to last you days. This is the little cheat I was talking about earlier. This totally just kind of saves your ass at the end game. You can see I definitely start this level with more lives than I had before because it took me a couple tries to beat this level. It's not a very forgiving level once you get to this part. This part in particular is just terrible. You have to jump in here and give it a moment. This part right here is terrible because you have to like play around with it a little bit. If you hold right, you should be fine. But I've seen people like just go left to right and then come out so that they've got the timing down, but it's just, I guess it's easier to just go right. Or not, I don't know. It depends on if you want to just play around the tube. Egg. Scrambled egg zone. Okay. The pause in the save state really made that moment for me. So the beginning part of the zone isn't so bad. I'd say it's a lot more forgiving than the other two acts of this zone. But that's because the real challenge is supposed to be the boss. I don't think I found that challenge, to be quite honest with you. I had more trouble in the lead up to the boss. I think finding my way around and like learning the level was the real challenging part right here. Thankfully it's not confusing. You know, thankfully, I didn't really ever get lost in this game like I did with Sonic 1. I'm sure you guys remember if you watched the 8-bit Sonic 1 playthrough. I got pretty lost in, I just got really lost in Scrap Brain Zone, and that was awful. Yeah, I got really lost in Scrap Brain Zone, but this game, I didn't get lost so much as I had just like trouble just straight up navigating the level. Like these tubes near the end game, awful. The springs in Green Hill Zone, terrible. This boss fight, ridiculously easy. So long as you're like in a ball for the most part and jumping around, he really can't do anything to you. I think I mentioned him in my Sonic 2 playthrough. This guy is Silver Sonic. Okay, yeah, no, he killed me right there. Hats off to him, he was hard. I guess he's a boss fight. Alright, so Silver Sonic. Not that hard of a boss, all things considered. He reminds me a lot of Mecha Sonic from Sonic 2, which is, I mean, I guess that's kind of the point. He has this little claw arm thing, and I love him for it. Oh, okay. I guess he's giving me more trouble. I'm trying to cut through so it's like, it's more digestible for you guys, but it's, I want to just talk about the boss. So, Silver Sonic, he is here. He is Ball. I am Ball. You see how, like, waiting to commentate about something, like, can just kind of mess you up a little bit? Look at his arm. Oh, he didn't do it. We already saw the arm, anyway. Yeah, so this boss fight, kind of forgotten after this game. I think he makes a couple appearances in the comics, and that's, like, it. Maybe. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. I'm playing every single Sonic game after all for the most part, so we'll get there at some point eventually. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So, that's been Sonic 2. Like I said before, there's a couple of other stuff to this game that I may not have really talked about or gone into too much detail, but I got nothing else really. I might make a bonus video about like the like clump all the Game Gear games together kind of and do like a bonus video. I plan on doing the same thing with the Genesis series. Kinda, sorta, not really. There's just a lot to talk about with Sonic games. And as far as these two Game Gear Master System games are concerned, they have a couple of cut content and stuff of that sort. And, you know, this game has a good and a bad ending that, like, changes a little bit depending on which one you get. Like, for instance, we got the bad ending here, and Tails is presumed dead, apparently. He's definitely not presumed dead, but it's like it's supposed to be like, oh, Sonic is mournful enough to the point where it's like it might as well have been Tails dying because he didn't save him, but he just doesn't die. He's fine. And that's just kind of funny to me. Because they even just straight up treat it like Tails dies. You'll see here in a moment. But yeah, the classic games have a lot of just way too much cut content for really like one video. So I might just make like a really big video, like super chunky, just talking about every single game. And then another one so I can, you know, give some air and just talk about the rest of the, like the spin-offs and these games and whatnot. I don't really consider this game a spin-off as much as other people might. I just consider it like a side entry, kind of as if it were like Shadow the Hedgehog or Sonic Riders, I guess. I got nothing else. Like those are the most the most kind of like side games that aren't really spin-offs, but like they're still integral, I guess, to the like main Sonic timeline. The music cuts off here. This isn't me editing anything. This is just like the music cuts. I don't know if this is like a problem with the like the emulator I'm using or something, but anyway. Here's Tails' death scene. It's definitely not a death scene. It's just like Sonic looks up and there's Tails up in the sky, signifying that like, oh no, Tails is out there somewhere. You didn't save him. You should get all the Chaos Emeralds or something. Piss off, Sonic. I also like both of his tails have a star on them, and like he's just I don't know, he's just all starred in the right places. It really looks like. Anyway, that's it for Sonic 2. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you guys later.